Hello.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I am doing very well. It's good to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Good, good. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's podcast with Latasha Harrison. I'm your host tonight, and we will be speaking with a wonderful, a woman of God, powerhouse tonight. We have Kertredia Davis, Treaty for short, for those that know her as Treaty. Uh, Now, what we're going to talk about is, let me give you guys the topic. First of all, the topic or the name of this podcast is going to be Single Parent to Happily Ever After. Now, I'm pretty sure from the title, you're like, okay, we know where this is going, but you have no idea because we can go millions of ways. I mean, with this young lady, she's intelligent. She is just very knowledgeable on any and everything that she speaks about. And she is just a quality person in general. I love her. Let me just give you some background. She had her first child at the age of 16. She graduated high school at 17 and went to community college. That's awesome. And that's where she soon became married to her husband in her freshman year. 6 years and 2 children later, the couple divorced. And despite struggles, Kertredia juggled continuing her education and family life when she met her second husband. She's now the chief billing officer for a local hospital in Columbus. And Kertredia and her husband, Felix Davis, have 8 beautiful children. And let me just go ahead and let you guys meet and be introduced to Treaty Davis.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Tasha, I do love you so much. I'm honored to be here. I just appreciate the opportunity. Such a wonderful woman of God and a powerhouse yourself. It's great to be here today.
Oh, thank you, Treaty. But yes, I mean every word of it. So
Thank you.
So again, everyone, we are coming from the topic single parent to happily ever after. I'm gonna be asking Treaty a couple of questions, and then we're just gonna go in, and however the Spirit of the Lord leads us, or we're, like I said, this platform, we talk about any and everything from the rooter to the tutor, as they say.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Treaty. So first question I'm going to ask you tonight, tell me a little bit about your life as a single parent.
Yes, as you mentioned, I was a parent early. I had my first son at 16. So starting there, I was instantly a single parent. I was determined really to get finished with school. I had him on a Thursday. I was back in school on Monday. I wanted to finish. I was an honors student and I did not want to do anything to sacrifice that. So I actually graduated number 7 out of 10 in my class. And it was hard, but I had a great support system. Still, I think behind the scenes, my dad was my biggest cheerleader. He had been with my mom since I was 3, so he's my dad. And my mom was there for me as well, but I kept at it. I got a scholarship to the local community college, Chattahoochee Valley, and I went there. I had gotten a couple other scholarships to other schools afar, but I wanted to stay close so I could raise my son. With my first marriage, things didn't work out, and so I became a single mom again. And so I didn't know what I was going to do. I had at that point, my son was about, I want to say he was maybe 9, and I had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old at that
Wow.
point. So I had 2 that were daycare age. And just a little bit of a backstory. You know, my husband and I, we were doing well. We got married. We bought our first house at 19. And, you know, American family. So I started all over again.
Wow.
And I left everything behind. And I went from on top of the world to ground zero instantly. So 2 kids in daycare, not knowing how I was going to make it, but knowing I was willing to start over. Wow. And it was nothing but the grace of God. Not quite knowing how I was going to do it alone, but at the same time, having faith that I was truly not alone.
Right.
So I was always really strong in my faith. So I got to the point where I would just look at the bare cabinets and prophesy that food was there. And somehow, some way, food would be there.
My God.
If it was nothing but out of the blue, my mom would come from nowhere. She would come from an hour away and say, "Hey, look, you just popped on my mind, so I just brought groceries." Or just out of the box, blessings would come.
Wow. That is, when I say, you know, of course we are believers in faith, and so of course that is a powerful testimony because you were dedicated to your education. And a lot of times I notice people feel like if they have a child, their life is over, you know, they can't finish school. And so just to see your tenacity and your ability to just press forward is awesome. I believe that's amazing. But the fact that you knew, according to your faith, how to prophesy, how to speak life, that's also a testament. And what would you, so with that being said, Treaty, we have so many single parent homes nowadays that, and I really feel that people need to be encouraged by what you just said, because a lot of people, whether it be male or female, okay, because it goes both ways now.
Yes.
You know, to encourage them. And what's something that you would say to someone right now that's dealing with that, especially with this COVID-19 pandemic that we're in this time? People have lost jobs, they're going through with their children. What would you say to encourage that group of people?
You can't afford not to keep pushing forward. And that there is life on the other side of right now. There is life on the other side of the storm. Tasha, I actually remember sharing with you how one day I was in my room just really thinking on what's going on right now. And the Lord kind of showed me a map. You know, how you're looking at the news and you're looking at a map of how the meteorologist is forecasting the news, the weather. And you're looking at a map of, say, the U.S. And I was seeing all the little red dots of where the pandemic had hit the United States. So you see the dots all over America. And right as I was seeing that, I saw little, if you could say, little deposits of what looked like wheat sprout up over those little dots. And I heard the Lord say, "See also."
Wow.
So that was encouraging to me, because I believe that even though this is going on, there will be prosperity, there will be life, there will be abundance on the other side of this if we keep our eyes on Him and look to the hills from which comes our help. Our help comes from the Lord, and we have to remember that He is the author and finisher of our faith. We cannot afford to just see this as the end.
Right.
This is not the end. And we have to give our children really listen with their eyes. So we have to show our children that we are not quitters. We are fighters. We have to teach them how.
Yeah.
Teach them
Absolutely.
how to pray. Teach them how to fight. Teach them how to press forward.
Absolutely. I agree. And also what I get to from what you shared was that there is life after divorce.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was fearful. I was very fearful because I felt like a failure. I felt that, Lord, will I be destined to be alone forever? I didn't know if, now that, I was even afraid of introducing another man into my children's lives. That's scary. I was still, would I heal from this? Would I be so broken that I wouldn't be able to see clearly if God chose to introduce another man into my life, would I be healed enough to even see him when God brings him by? Right. I had a lot of different questions. So yeah.
Okay. And again, that I believe that if I was listening to what you just said, it would encourage me so much the more. Because even if I had a little mustard seed of faith in God and his help, that would have encouraged me and encouraged that seed to kind of grow even greater. So that brings me to the next question, Treaty. Was it hard supporting a family with the income you brought in as a single mother?
Yes, it was not easy. I remember a time in which I would actually get up and go to work at 7 in the morning. I would get off at 5. I would have to be at another job at 5:30 and get off at 2 in the morning.
Wow.
And do it all over again until I just could not do that anymore. And then at one point I was going to school full time. So it was not easy. Man. It was not easy, but they were worth it. And I knew that one thing that my father said to me, because he saw the struggle as well, and I was so determined that I wanted to do it on my own. I was so proud, should I say. And he said to me, Treaty, the children are little right now. They're small. I know they're on your knee right now, but they won't be there forever. They won't be this little forever.
Yes, absolutely. Just saying they won't let, what's that saying? They won't be small forever. Yeah, definitely. I just, because like I said, there's so many people, out there that with the same sentiment, they feel that, wow, I'm struggling. They're crying every night.
Yes.
They feel hope. They may not have the support that you had, in the midst of it. Because sometimes people don't have the support. I know for myself, I never had anybody there to help me if I needed to sleep, if I needed to do run around and do something, I didn't have that. I had to take my children everywhere I went. So
yes.
Again, that's just something. So now we're gonna flip this coin. Okay, we're gonna flip this coin over a little bit. We're gonna shift gears. What is life like now as a happily married woman? Because Kertredia has remarried since, and I'll let her tell her story. But she's now a happily married woman, no longer single with children. What is life like for you now, Treaty?
It is definitely a blessing. I think that this man loves me truly with the love of God, and he's everything that I did not know to ask God for. We had to grow to this place, and he says to me that he'll never let my love outdo his love. And so we both practice that, never letting the other's love outdo one another. And so I ran from him when he tried to pursue me.
Wow.
I did. And it was.
And what do you think? I'm sorry to kind of cut in, because I need you to touch this point.
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe made you run? Like, what was that?
Fear. Complete fear. And even so much of a it's too good to be true type deal. And sometimes we can pray for something, and then when it hits you in the face, you are afraid of it. Don't believe that God actually put it in your face.
Wow.
Don't know enough about yourself to know whether or not God actually put it there once he did do it. And then sometimes you can get so used to the fight and the struggle that is an adjustment to even come out of it. So I had to examine myself, and I ran from him for about 4 months, so much so that I wasn't even responding to calls or text messages. And we started out as friends, and from the moment that I realized that I had any feelings above friendship for him, I completely went ghost on him.
Now real quick, did you think that you didn't deserve love? Is that why, or that had nothing to do with it, or what was it that?
I think it was a combination of all of it. I thought that he was too good to be true. I had insecurities. I didn't think that I was fit. I didn't think that I was. A little bit of me didn't think that I was beautiful. I thought that I was broken. I thought that I was damaged goods.
Or that no one would want you, because I know you had children and stuff. So I know you probably had that.
Yep, absolutely. I had too much baggage.
Wow.
Again, that I was damaged goods, or could this be possible or real? And so I ran away from the very thing that I was asking God for.
I wonder how many women listening to this this conversation struggle with the same thing. Because what I've come to realize, even myself, I've done it. Even as of late, I believe even this year, I've sabotaged. You sabotage things sometimes. Because that's what it is. It's self-sabotage.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Because you don't think you're worthy. And so thank you. I mean, that makes, God.
And even
so
to touch on something, backtracking just a little bit, sometimes we have, even as women, stayed in relationships so long that we knew were toxic because we were afraid of stepping out. Or we've said, well, at least I know what this is. I don't know what's out there.
Right.
For the very same reasons, insecurities, fears.
Yes. And you know what? And being that we've gotten right here in the spot, I even noticed that there are men.
Yes.
Who have gone through, certain things in their life where they too. So ladies and gents, don't assume that it's just a woman or a female thing. Okay, let's get that out of our heads, because this can go both. So that's a whole nother discussion. We'll have that next. We'll have that as next session.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Treaty. So we could go on and on about that, but now that you're no longer a single parent with children, how did that work with you having this beautiful, wonderful man in your life now, and how did it work with your children? Because again, you have one child with your husband?
Yes, he had children. I had 3 children prior, and he had children prior, so that's how we collectively have 8 children.
I like how you said that we collectively have 8 children.
Yes, beautiful. We have 8 children. And the beautiful part about that is that a lot of people that don't know us before pre-marriage, they don't know the difference between which children were ours beforehand. I appreciate
Wow.
that the most about him. You can't tell which ones are not his. He treats them all with the same love. And that's very hard to find.
So, people, don't get it twisted. There are blended families that work. As a matter of fact, this is just a testament to a blended family working, because first of all, if both people, how the Bible declares, how can two walk together unless they are in agreement? So if you are agreeing on anything in earth, believing that thing, you can make it work. So stop believing that age-old lie that blended families don't work. And as a matter of fact, Treaty just told us that she came from what was pretty much a
Yes.
blended family, because her father, as you stated, came in your life at the age of 3. That is your
Yes,
father.
he is my father. He walked me down the aisle. That's my
So, hello.
That's my father. Yes.
That's right. So blended or extended, however you want to put a little title on it, it works. Amen, girl. So moving ahead, I want to ask you this. Tell me about your career choice, what you do now as compared to the past, and how that all ties into your life.
Okay. At 19, I started out as a customer service representative at Aflac. I was there for 5 years. I moved from there to a medical transcriptionist or a scribe at the medical center. I started composing history and physicals in the emergency room alongside the physicians. And at that point, I worked mainly in the trauma room and the emergency room. And it got to the point where I could pretty much diagnose the patient alongside the doctor. And did not know at that point I was involving myself in some form of medical coding. So I went to school for medical billing and coding, and it just took off from there. I got my bachelor's after I got my certification, medical billing and coding, I got my bachelor's in health information management. I got my master's in health informatics. I moved on and did some medical billing and coding management. And now I am the chief billing officer at a local hospital here. So my industry has always been healthcare, revenue cycle management, financing. It's basically the financial aspect of healthcare.
Wow. Awesome. Amazing. So your resume is magnificent.
It's all God. All God.
Yes.
It's been all God. My husband has been a wonderful support. He's always pushed me to finish. Pushed me to finish.
Amen. I love it. I mean, I love it. I love to hear the success stories, because a lot of people think it's just about, that's because someone, listen, let's just cut that right now, because this young woman has just poured out her heart explaining what she went through. If she could do it with 3 children, there's no excuses. We have to stop with the excuses of, I can't do this because I have a baby, or I have this, I have that. There are no excuses. This woman just said that she had her own home at the age of 19. So I would really, I get tired of hearing excuses of, the white man this, or the white man this, that, and the third. We all have the same opportunities. It's what you do. So the cards that you're dealt, it's what you do with them. So you can accomplish anything. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I definitely amen that, because I definitely made bad choices. I took detours. There's been times where I've had to quit school because I've had other pressing things that I've had to do. I've had to choose. But the thing that kept me going is I watched my mother work 2 jobs as an LPN with 4 kids. And I watched her walk across the stage when I was 6 years old to get her RN license. And on the nights when it was hard and I was writing papers and I would type at my desk and cry because I was so tired, I remembered watching her walk across the stage, and I wanted my children to see me walk across the stage. All 4 of them, all 8 of them, I wanted them to see that, yes, I made bad choices. Yes, I made mistakes. Yes, I could have done it sooner. Don't make the detours that I made. You do it sooner than I did. I wanted them to have the same vision ingrained in their brains that I had ingrained in mine.
Yes.
So for me, I could not afford to quit because I wanted to show them something else.
Yes. A pattern. Yes, absolutely. And again, no excuses. There are none. Okay, especially with the resources now. I mean, back at that time, it was a little harder, but now you have so many programs and different things you can get into. So thank you for that, Treaty. I have one more question for you. Now, because you're in the healthcare field, and we both are in that same field, same arena, and we know there's things that we know that maybe the general public may not know if they're not in insurance. Because me, myself, I worked in the clinical aspect. So in the back office, sometimes I did front office, but it wasn't until getting into the insurance sector where you learn the tricks of the trade, the billing aspect. So with that being said, what information do you feel is important for especially our elderly population, but also everyone of all ages as it relates to healthcare?
Oh, yeah. Well, right now we are in a sensitive time. We know that certain aspects of healthcare are on the table, especially with today's election. Pre-existing conditions are a big deal right now in healthcare, and the decisions that are going to be made are going to be is going to determine a pivot in what's going to happen with our healthcare coverage as it relates to pre-existing conditions, whether or not they could or could not be covered.
Now, let me say, I need you to break down, because some people don't know what that means when you say pre-existing condition.
If you have a pre-existing condition, let's say those that have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you have any condition for which you already receive care prior to being covered under a new policy, that is considered a pre-existing condition, a diagnosis that you've already been given by a doctor prior to having an insurance coverage or a new insurance coverage. That is called a pre-existing condition. The decision may be made that pre-existing conditions will no longer be covered.
My goodness, are you serious?
This is possible right now. It could be on the table very soon. With that being said, medical identity theft is already a problem in the United States. But I fear that if pre-existing conditions will no longer be covered, medical identity theft is going to skyrocket in the United States. And what medical identity theft is when a person steals. It's basically the same as identity theft, but someone steals your medical information, be it your insurance, your policy number, your policy number. They'll use your ID number, your social security number in order to assume your coverage.
Wow.
To get treatment under your insurance coverage.
Wow.
This is very, very important.
Wow.
And this is important because if John Doe has their medical identity taken or stolen, should I say, if John Doe has his identity stolen, that means that when you go get treatment, it's possible that the policy won't cover you because your benefits have been maxed out, because someone else has already exhausted that coverage.
That is so, amazing. And with that treaty, that's why it's very important for you to check your explanation of benefits or EOB
absolutely, and your credit report. Check your EOBs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Check your credit report. Do not throw away your EOBs. Shred them. Do not just throw away the labels on your prescription bottles.
Yes. And keep in mind, everyone, for those of you that may not know what we mean by EOB or explanation of benefits, that's what it means. Those are the documents you get, like when you go to your doctor, say you go to your primary care physician, or in parentheses, they say PCP, and say you went for a physical exam and you got blood work. That's going to break down, that EOB is breaking down the services that you receive. So it's very important, as Mrs. Davis is saying, because if you see something on there, you're like, wait a minute, I didn't discuss that with the doctor, or I don't know what this is. You need to make sure immediately that you contact that doctor's office, the billing department, or treaty. Go ahead, I'll give it over to you.
No problem. Check your medical records. Request your medical records periodically. Make sure that the diagnoses on your medical records are diagnoses that are related to you. Because if there's a diagnosis that you don't know anything about, you need to discuss that with your doctor. Make sure that actually pertains to you and not someone else. The Federal Trade Commission cites that 23% of victims of medical identity theft shared their policy information with someone that they actually knew. So be careful with whom you're sharing your policy information with as well.
Wow. And so listen up, guys. This is important information, and I wanted Treaty to get into that because you have this going on, especially amongst our elderly, our seasoned people. Okay. And so Treaty, let me ask you this. When we speak of elderly, what do you feel is considered elderly? What age group?
A lot of times we think that our senior group, our elderly group, are individuals that have reached beyond the retirement age of 65 and older.
And a lot of time, that group, okay, and I know some of you are like, I'm not elderly. Okay, I'm calling me elderly. No, that's just what the world system's terminology is for you. So we know you guys are the 60 is the new 45.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And sachet. Yes.
Sachet.
Yes.
Strike a pose in Vogue. But there are a lot of you that are tech savvy. Okay, you have your apps, as you know, a lot of these insurances, I know myself, the company I work for, you can download the app to your phone, to your smartphone, and you can see your EOBs and different things. You can see everything that's going on. You can look for a doctor and network and so forth. But some of that group of people are not as savvy. They may not even have anyone there to break things down for them or explain it to them. So this is why I wanted Kertredia to really dig into this thing, because The Bible declares my people are
Absolutely.
destroyed for lack
Absolutely.
of knowledge.
And just to drop a tidbit, Georgia, Texas, and California, and Florida are hot spots for medical identity theft for some reason. It's on the rise in these areas. So
and they haven't said what it is.
They have not really identified the reason, but they experience it more in these areas. So not necessarily to put anybody on high alert, but these areas are hot spots for medical identity theft. So my people in these areas, be extra careful. And if you think that there's something going on, if you're doing the things that we're talking about, if you are checking your EOBs, if you're checking your credit report and you find something, I have a website that you can file a complaint with. It's with the Federal Trade Commission. It's www.ftccomplaintassistant.gov. And with your credit report, you can dispute it on your credit report, and you can file it with the police as well.
Yes. And you can find that same information that Kertredia just gave you on the back of your explanation of benefits on your EOB. There's a local commission, and then you have your, what's the other one? State. Your state, and then you have your, I forgot, what's the other one? It's the state, and then there's another one. But they're on those, that information is on the back of your explanation of benefits, okay? So like even if you have to do an appeal to the state, because they won't, approve the appeal process, you go to that same information on the back of your EOB. And so Treaty, if you want to repeat that again for those that may have been trying to write
it's
it
www.f as in Frank, T as in Tom, C as in Charlie, that's FTC complaintassistant.gov. And the FTC has recorded over 100,000 cases this year. So this is very serious.
Yes. So make sure you guys, you're getting, you can get all 3 of your credit reports from your credit bureau for free once a year. So you can Google Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion and get that information. Treaty, do you know any other ways to do that other than calling in? They can go online as well and do that, correct? Okay. All right. Great. So everyone, I hope that you all have been informed and encouraged, inspired, built up on this testimony from this wonderful powerhouse. As I said earlier, she's definitely has the inside track on a lot of information, especially with billing, coding. She's just an all-around person. She's a jack of all trades is what I call her. She's Jamaican, okay? She's Jamaican mom. She has like 20 jobs. She's a beautician. She's got her hands in everything. She's a decorator, a very artistic and creative. It's just amazing the things that are inside of her. And so with that being said, those that are listening tonight, if you see yourself in any of these areas that she discussed, please be encouraged. We're here to encourage you. We're not here to shine. We're not here to brag. We're not here to say, oh yeah, well, this is what I went through and look at where I'm at now. But it's a platform for us to encourage you, because you know what? If God can do it for us, He can do it for you. And it's about the ministry of reconciliation, just bringing you back, having you take a second look. What did you say earlier? God told you to do what? Look again.
Yes, look again. He is truly the restorer of time. He is the restorer of time. He can restore whatever you lost. He can do that. He will do that.
That's right. Yeah. So, Trudy, again, I thank you so much for being a part of this discussion tonight. I tell you, this has just been a wonderful time. I could do this with you for
I
hours.
thoroughly enjoyed you. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be here. You are amazing. I appreciate you so much. You're a wonderful person, powerful person, gifted individual. God bless you.
Thank you, Treats. And you know what? I will be so happy when the Lord releases my Boaz so that I can have that wonderful love and happily ever after that you have as well. And the
he's on the
family,
way.
Beautiful children.
He's on the way. He's on the way.
God bless your family, woman of God, your husband, Felix. Felix, shout out to you, man of God. That preacher, the prophet, priest, and king of his home, and all of your children. I don't want to mess up anybody's name. I know the ones that you have. I don't know Felix's children, but to all of you that are a part of this family, you are blessed, truly, richly blessed. Okay, and Felix, please know that this woman that you have is a gift. And we know that you're a wonderful gift too, but she is definitely a gift, and you have obtained favor of the Lord.
Thank you.
Tremendously.
Thank you. Thank you. Say hello to your children for me.
All right, Tracy. I will. And again, thank you for your time. Thank you for sowing the seed of your time, and I pray that you get double increase.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Blessings on you and your family.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for those that have tuned in to this podcast. And please reach out to me. I'm at LatashaHarrison@iCloud.com. You can also reach me at Facebook, Latasha Harrison. You can also remember the book Determined to Be Me. You can get that on my personal website. That is Latasha, Latosha. So it's not going to be Lata, it's Latosha, middle initial N as in Nancy, Harrison.com, where you can click on the link on that personal website. You can order that book. Treaty, did you have any information that you wanted to share if anyone wanted to reach out to you?
Just my email address. It's Kertredia, KertrediaDias or Treaty Davis. On Facebook, TREADY Davis. And the book is wonderful. Determined to Be Me is great. I read it with my daughters. They gave me great feedback. They thought it was very relatable. You will not regret the read. It's wonderful.
Thank you for the plug, sis.
No problem. It was a great book. Great book.
Thank you so much. And we'll also get into a conversation about the book. Two people that both been single parents, married and divorced, married again. It's definitely a good read. We're claiming it's a bestseller, and so that's what we're looking for.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right.
It's worth every minute.
Yes. Thanks again, everybody. I look forward to our next conversation. Again, this has been your host, Latasha Harrison. Thank you. Wonderful evening. Take care. Bye-bye now.